question is, will this guy be interesting and how long will he preach? And for the baseball record, I want you to know the first game I ever saw was on my grandmother's field. We were Brooklyn Dodger fans. Do you remember the Brooklyn Dodgers? Come on, thank you. And I still have my autographed Pee Wee Reese baseball. Well, that's a long time ago. Well, anyway, I like this technology. The church I just left was a 118-year-old building, and the last modern technology was called electricity and running water. So it's kind of a neat thing. I want to kind of give it a try. I've done this since I taught school, so it's been a while ago. Well, anyway, the word extreme. What does the word extreme mean? Somebody tell me. Extreme. What does it mean?
Over and above.
Extreme. What?
Over and above.
Over and above. Thank you. Okay. So we call this extreme faith. Do you have faith that is over and above? Anybody? Don't put your hands up. That's okay. I find that over the years in preaching sermons, many times I write sermons to myself. People say to me, is it easy to get up on a Sunday morning and preach? That's not hard preaching. It's harder on Monday morning to put to practice what you've been telling the congregation. Most of us are familiar with the TV show Extreme Makeover Home Edition. Ever seen it? Sure you have. In record time, they go to this site, there's a dilapidated old house, they bulldoze it down, send the people to Disney World, and all of a sudden, amazingly, this new house appears. It's done by a determined crew, those who donate the supplies. But after you watch this show a while, you begin to pick up on something. These people are doing more than just building a home. They seem to have their heart in it. You get that impression? They start to develop a relationship with the family, and they begin to care. Our church went to West Virginia for a long, long time. And the last trip we made, the mission trip, we went to different work sites, and I got to work on this trailer, and it was in bad shape. You could look in the floor and see the ground. The place did not have a heating system working anymore, so a bunch of us were assigned to build a deck to get other work. In the kitchen, I said to the lady, where's your stove? She said, oh, it's the hot plate. I said, a hot plate? But how do you cook? She said, well, the best you can. You know what a stove costs, mister? It's a lot of money. I don't have it. So we went over to Lowe's, and we were buying lots of things, and I said to the man, Ray Sweeney, I said, can I go over and look at stoves? He said, I don't know if we have enough money for a stove or not. I said, well, I got a credit card. So I walked over and I said to the guy, I want to buy a stove for somebody, but I want the cheapest but good stove. So he said, well, you don't want this one. You kind of need mid-range. So I just put it on my credit card, knowing my wife wouldn't get mad. And she would say, that's a good thing to do. And so we had a stove delivered. And those ladies had tears in their eyes. And I thought about that in this show, Extreme Makeover. There was some similarity between our work group and this show. We got together, donated our time, and we worked together. And we had faith and trust in each other that each person would give it their best shot. Trust is something very important. So I'd like to, there we go. Trust in God is vital to living a victorious Christian life. My question this morning is, do you trust in God? Now, we read the words, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make straight your paths. Now, that's a very familiar verse. But let me tell you something about that. Notice something about that. For God to direct your path, here's what has to happen. You have to acknowledge Him in all ways. Basically, what it's telling us to do is that you've got to give God your all. My question today is God really number one in your life? Many years ago, you may remember this poster. It was actually two posters. I was in seminary in Dayton, Ohio at the time, and my friend Terry, who I rode into seminary with, was from Bradford, Ohio. I'm sure you've all heard of Bradford, Ohio. Have you? Where at? Dayton. Well, okay. New Lebanon, Pickwick, Covington. Brookville. Oh, yeah. Right there on Interstate 70. Well, then you know where New Lebanon is at. Okay. I served in that town. Well, anyway, as we get back to this whole idea, how do you want to put it? I lost my thought here. The posters. Thank you. Okay. Not like make a good first impression, lose. Well, anyway, there's these two posters in Bradford Church. About yay big, and it shows a throne in both posters. In the first one, it shows self on the throne. God is in the picture, but he's one of the boxes. And they're kind of around the throne. Actually, they're not in boxes, they're kind of scattered. But there is a corner for God. But in the next poster, Christ is on the throne, and everything is all in neat order. It's very difficult. I don't know about you. And after pastoring over 30 years, now in retirement, and enjoying my retirement, not serving the church anymore. No, it's really good to be here this morning. I found this, though, seriously. Getting to the place where you can really put God on the throne can be very difficult. In all your ways, acknowledge Him. You see, if you do that, then God will make straight your path. I don't know about you, but many times my prayer life has been simply this: giving God unsolicited advice, not even waiting for the voice of God, and then when I make my decision, ask God to bless it. Can you identify with that? Anybody? You have to first say, Lord, not my will, but your will be done. If you find that really easy, will you call me this week and tell me how you did it so easy? It's not easy to do. Well, I believe this. I truly believe it. When Christ called his disciples, they were an interesting group of men. That was my favorite Peter. Bold and outspoken. He would engage mouth before he would engage brain. Now, we've never done that, but Peter did it. He would be boastful. He would be the one to say, I'll go all the way with you, Lord. But Peter sometimes got a little ahead of himself.